Hi, everybody. Coming to you today, wanting to give you an update on the Mercury retrograde for November through December. We just went through this last Mercury retrograde of the year, I believe, and we're still having some residual happen until December 7th. So you're still going to feel some of this Mercury retrograde energy, as well as the full moon energy of Taurus. And so what's really happening right now is a lot of separation. So people are breaking up with each other. And, you know, during this Mercury retrograde, it's really bad to make decisions on separating anything, whether that be a partnership, whether that be separating from a business partner, separating from a best friend, or separating from family members. It's really irrational to complete those type of things during the Mercury retrograde because there is residual things that happen after, and those are called karmic lessons. But if you haven't had any of those things happen, you're probably trekking away and trying to create some new endeavors in your life and figuring out that you are a new version of yourself now. And so, yes, we're being very called to be very creative. You know, we've got some influences with Jupiter and Saturn, and so because of that, we're actually, you know, really assessing our lives and really assessing our truth. And you know, a lot of reconciliations are going to be happening in December. So if you happen to had some type of separation of any of the following that I spoke about, know that in December that's going to come back around to reconcile with you. And if it's not in alignment with you, don't waste your time. Just don't, okay? Because, you know, we're trying to upgrade ourselves in a higher vibrational system. And so as a collective consciousness, we're all upgrading with each other. And so those things that don't serve you, let go of them. Open up the door for some new and fresh, innovative things that are going to come in. You know, this is the time for new beginnings. And because of the new beginnings, we really want to assess what's in our best interest. Do we want to jump into a new relationship that maybe we just met somebody and we're really, really enamored by them? So we really have to be consistent in our thought pattern during this time, because this really is the time for us to create our best life ever. And if we have the opportunity to create our best life ever, that means that we really have to be particular. We've got to be concise. And we really got to dial into what is my heart's desire? What is it that I really want to have into my experience? And do I want to bring in toxic stuff from the past or from past relationships? And that's of all kinds of relationships, partnerships, career, and, you know, best friends and family. And so, yeah, just kind of reassessing things, really acknowledging your truth, acknowledging your worth right now. There's a lot of these planetary systems that are making the energy really heavy right now. So those of you that are having a hard time, well, we're almost out of it. December 7th is when we're going to be pulling out of that energy, and things are going to start to feel a lot less heavy. And thank goodness that that's going to happen right before Christmas. But just want to update you guys for this next week coming, and I say Thanksgiving week might be a little heavy. Unfortunately, that's just kind of what's going on. That's the state of the union right now, and we just really want to ground ourselves, you know, really take a lot of time to sleep, drink a lot of water. I know I say that on a lot of my Mercury retrograde in a lot of my videos, but it's of essence that you really take care of yourself and really pay attention to what's in your best interest and really evaluate what is my desire. What is it that I want to manifest? What is my truth? And can I handle other people's truth as well as my own? So it's really important that we acknowledge in this space right now that we are transitioning, that we're creating this dichotomy within us of truth and passion and desire and manifestation. And so, you know, right now, not good to indulge in any of those, I say, bad energy desires. So if you know you're not doing something that you shouldn't be, well, don't do it during the Mercury retrograde or even the residual part of that, because you're going to bring more of that in your experience for the year coming. 2020 is supposed to be manifesto. So we're kind of planting the seeds as to what we want to grow in the next coming months. Once we hit January 2020, things are really going to shift quite a bit, and we're going to start to feel a less heavy energy, but we're going to put that, you know, our authentic jacket on, and we'll be able to walk in truth. We'll be able to walk in a clear space where we feel more divine, where we feel more conscious about our choices, and we get the opportunity to make better choices for our lives. So there's lots of things going on here, and yes, it is heavy right now, and I'm so sorry, you guys, if there's some of you out there that are having a hard time right now. Well, things are going to lift in the next, I say, well, December 7th, things should start to feel a lot less heavy, okay? As far as like partnerships are concerned, I want to kind of go into that a little bit. And I'm not just saying love relationship partnerships. I'm saying all partnerships. I'm saying with your family, with your friends, with your, you know, relationships at the workplace. There's lots of transitioning, and, you know, our partnerships. We are moving into a space where the universe is clearing out the old stuff in relationships and is asking us to develop ourselves in a space where we can open up to a new and better life. And so with a lot of these things coming in, we do have to assess. We've got to dial down. What is my desire? What do I want to create? What seeds do I want to plant at this time, so that I can grow, you know, a more fulfilled life and a more desired life, where I'm not waking up every morning and being challenged by a job or a partnership or a best friend, or, you know, even a job that just doesn't sit well with you. And so there's going to be some things that are going to retract during this time. And what I mean by that is there's going to be some pulling away. You know, the seams are going to pop open, and we're going to feel like a different version of ourselves, and we're going to get to address some of the ideas and the creative streaks that are going through us through this beautiful stellar systems going on that are to our benefit and for our benefit as well. And so just hang tight, you guys. We're almost to the end of this. We just got to get through Thanksgiving. I'm not going to say that Thanksgiving is going to be like the last few Thanksgivings of the last couple of years, because this one's going to be a little heated. It's going to be a little more heavy. And so try to find gratitude. Try to be in a space of gratitude where you're finding joy and happiness and spending time with others. You know, don't get yourself so caught up in the petty little details of life. Sometimes we overthink way too much, and because we overthink, you know, we start to think things that aren't real. And so I say we come into a space of fear, and we all know that fear is false evidence appearing real. So we are in a very illusionary period right now until December 7th. So a lot of things that are coming up might be stuff from your past that you think are influencing the very present moment, which is not the case. And so we are creating this divine life that is going to inspire us as we move into 2020 to be the best version of ourselves. And so it's an exciting time for us, but it's also a very heavy time. And so if you're feeling yucky, well, you know what, sleep a lot during these retrogrades. You know, really let your body kind of shift you into some different spaces so that you can see a little bit more clearly as to your direction and as to your path. You know, once we get onto a path of least resistance, then it doesn't feel so forced anymore. We can just glide with the tides or ride the wind out to whatever the case may be. But just understand that you are guided by something greater, and there is something that wants you to have the best parts of your life show up. And so if you're doing old patterns and you're doing old behaviors, well, those old patterns, those old behaviors are going to keep continuing to show up time and time again, because they're called karmic lessons. You've got to learn from these things and stop treating people bad. And so if you've done any of that during this Mercury retrograde, I say some prayers, because some of this energy is not going to benefit you the way that it should, because you're still moving into those past behaviors or still doing bad things to others. And essentially what that means when we do bad things to others is that we're hurting. If you've ever heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. Well, they're hurting in some way, or they can't be mean to another person. And so we got to give compassion and love, even though those times might, you know, hurt us, or we might feel like, wow, that person, you know, I thought that they were nice and they had the ability to be very cruel to me. And so, you know, we have to love them through their hurts and pains. And we have to acknowledge them as a true divine, you know, I say light. Even though they don't see their own lights, we've got to shine that light on them so that they can understand, and so they can persevere in their lives to a better understanding of what this higher state of consciousness really means for us. And so December is going to be full of lots and lots of reconciliations, maybe going back to an old job, maybe reassessing old best friend relationship. Maybe there was some things that clouded, you know, your relationship at that time, and you've got to come in and maybe create some correction. So December is going to be corrections and reconciliations. And so we'll get to really, really assess a lot of the aspects of our lives. And, you know, we'll get to readdress old relationships. And so because that's coming in, we might have the ability to really see clearly when it comes to our heart space. And so our heart's desire, you know, I said Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is all about career, love, and sex. And so that's what we're doing. We're redefining all of those things. And so partnerships are going to be really, really heavily influenced through this Mercury retrograde. But know that on the other end of the tunnel, the light is going to shine in. You're going to be okay. And it's not going to feel so heavy on you in this space. So just a little update on what's to come. The next few weeks, I'll continue to put these videos out because I want you guys to be okay. I want you to know that you're loved, you're supported, and you're worthy of all good things coming into your life, and seek those things out. Stop staying in the past with all the old patterns and all the old nonsense that never served you, because I don't want you to be going into this new energy of January 2020 and really still addressing all the baggage and all the bad behaviors that you had from the past. So a little update for you guys. Hopefully some of these tips helped you quite a bit. And as always, if you have any questions about the things that I say on the videos, please feel free to get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger. I love hearing from you guys. I get people talking to me all the time about what's going on, Dawn. Please address these really weird, you know, universal systems, and tell us about the astrology and why it's influencing us so much. And so, you know, we are in tune with the stars. So of course, when we have trines, or, you know, we have squared off moons or squared off planets, things tend to shift. And so the Mercury retrograde pulls away all the things that don't serve you and says, hey, you have an opportunity to have this new beautiful life. So I want you guys to have that. I love you all, and thank you again for tuning in with me, and you'll see me in the next few days. Namaste.